everyone, Happy New Year. This is Sharon Palmer. I'm the Plant Power Dietitian. Cheers, Happy New Year. Thanks for joining me. I'm here live in Ojai, California, and I'm so happy to be with the Uplands Peak Sanctuary, celebrating New Year's in this live telethon. It's such a great cause, so please support it. You know, it's the first farm sanctuary in Indiana. It's 7 years old now, and they have 50 farmed animal residents, such as cows, pigs, goats, turkeys, and chickens. So please support them, and let's get the plant-powered party started. That's what I'm here for. So, you know, I'm a registered dietitian. As I mentioned, I live in California. I'm an author. I've written several books on plant-based eating. That's my passion. Showing people how to eat a healthy, delicious plant-based diet that's also sustainable. So you can find all sorts of great information on my blog and my site at sharonpalmer.com. So go check it out. And 2 recipes that I'm making today are from my blog. So please send in your comments. I'm going to be checking my phone to see if anybody's, sending me comments. Let me know what you're making for New Year's Eve. I want to hear all about it. So send in the comments. Let me know how you're doing. So, first of all, we are going to make a pomegranate ginger sparkler. Super delicious, plant-based cocktail that's a little bit on the healthier side, which I'm all about. And the most amazing carnitas jackfruit tacos. So they're loaded up. I mean, this is literally a meal. They're so delicious. So we are going to make those jackfruit carnitas nachos right now. I want to get those going first. And then I've got my champagne over here to keep me company. And, if you want to go find this recipe, you can find it at sharonpalmer.com. It is my loaded jackfruit carnitas nachos. So go grab that recipe and maybe we can cook together, okay? And then the cocktail recipe is my pomegranate ginger sparkler. So you can find those recipes at sharonpalmer.com. So let's get cooking. Let's have a party. So first of all, I've got my skillet going here on my hot plate. I want to start cooking this up because we're going to start with sauteing and making this amazing jackfruit carnitas. Have you ever had jackfruit carnitas before? It's so amazing. It's a great plant-based alternative for meat. It's great in tacos and things like nachos. So I hope that you really enjoy this recipe. So we're going to get started. I've been heating this up. We're going to put a little bit of olive oil in the pan. My oven is going in the back. I've got that heating up. And we're going to add just a little bit of olive oil because I want to saute some onions. That is the foundation of these carnitas. So I've got 1 onion diced. I did this ahead of time because I'm a real baby when it comes to onions. I always cry when I chop onions. So I've got that going here. And it's starting with some finely diced onions that are going to saute. Oh, it's already starting to smell so good. And then meanwhile, I'm going to chop 2 cloves of garlic. That is going to go in there. And so basically, we're making this amazing taco filling. And as I said, you could use this for any kind of tacos, but it's amazing in these loaded up nachos. So I'm going to chop these garlic, 2 cloves of garlic. That's going to go in my carnitas. And we're going to put that in there. So let me know, what you're fixing. I have some messages coming in already. Oh, people say it sounds so good. I love it. Keep sending me those messages on Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're at right now. Let me know how you're doing and what you're cooking for New Year's Eve too. Okay, so I've got those cloves of garlic in there. Now it's going to be a little bit of a jalapeno. Now this is quite large jalapeno. I'm going to use about half of this. But if you really love spicy food, then just go for it. Add more. But I want to finely dice the jalapeno in here. And that is going to add this kick of spicy flavor, which we really want, especially for the New Year's. We really need to celebrate a brand new year, right? And I'm really excited that I could be here with the Uplands Peak team to bring in the new year and to celebrate and to have a party with all of you and to really support them in this amazing farm sanctuary. So don't forget to give generously. You can go to their Facebook page and donate there. I know that I'm a big fan of what they're doing. So, okay, I've got my jalapeno in here. So I put about a half of one in there. And I hope you can see it. I've got my garlic and my onions and my jalapeno. I'm going to move this a little bit. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is start adding some of our spices. So this, I'm a big fan of spices. These are all plant-based ingredients that we should be including more of, and they add just so much flavor. So I go heavy on the spices in my plant-based cooking. So this is about 1.5 teaspoons of chili pepper. So I'm going to add about 1.5 teaspoons of just chili powder, rather. That's going to go in there. And then we've got some cumin. We're going to put about 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. This is my own cumin that I grind up. That's going to go in there. And then we're going to put some oregano, 1 teaspoon of oregano. A lot of flavor. I wish you could smell how good this is already. It's just smelling so good. So we're going to saute that a little bit more. And then we're going to get our carnitas going, our jackfruit carnitas going a little bit. I want to show you how to make the jackfruit. First, I'm going to add a little bit of hot sauce. Now, this, again, could be according to your preference. It could be about a teaspoon, a 1/4 teaspoon. I put about 1/2 teaspoon in there. You could go back later and season this too. Now, I want to show you what to do with the jackfruit. That is the key ingredient. This is what it's looking like so far. This is jackfruit in a can, and this is what the recipe calls for. 1 can of jackfruit. Now, jackfruit, if you've not tried it before, it's an amazing fruit. It grows in Southeast Asia. I've seen it growing on trees. And it has a really amazing texture that makes it a great plant-based alternative. When it's picked immature, before it becomes sweet, because it's a fruit, it really has this amazing texture that creates these kind of strands that resemble meat, but of course it's made out of plants. And it even has a color that really looks great for creating some dishes like carnitas. So all you have to do is really kind of just string it apart with your fingers. You can do it on a cutting board. I'm going to just show you how we're going to do that right here. So we're just taking these pieces and just kind of crumbling them, and they just do this with your fingers. So it just kind of creates this meat-like texture. So I'm going to do that while my onions are cooking. That's going to go in here, this whole can. You don't need the liquid. I'm just basically taking out these one at a time. You could just strain out the brine. Sometimes I like to save a little of the brine if I need a little liquid in my pan. But I'm just basically breaking this apart. You can also do this, break it apart even with your cooking utensil as you're cooking away. So I'm going to keep adding, I'm going to add these here, and then, in fact, I'm going to drain off the brine so it's a little bit easier to work with. Got my handy strainer here. And so this is just a standard can. You can find this product in almost any supermarket these days. So we'll just keep working on crumbling the jackfruit with our fingers so that it's nice and has this nice stringy texture that we want for these amazing nachos. So, this is really good. I have a jackfruit taco recipe that's based on this. It's also really good in sloppy joes. Anytime you want that kind of a stringy meat alternative type texture. And then it's very bland and mild, the jackfruit, so it accepts all the flavors that you're adding to your dish. So because I have this amazing flavorful sauce, it's just going to absorb all that. So really the heart of this recipe is this jackfruit, this carnitas, And then we're going to layer in some of our other ingredients that make these amazing nachos, right? Because, you could just add so many different things to nachos to make it better. So these are loaded up. So we're going to put this to the side. And you can see that this is shaping up. I've got all of my jackfruit in here, my onions, my spices. Now let's start adding all of our sauce ingredients. So I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of tomato paste. So that's going to give it kind of that rich tomato flavor that we want. And then I'm going to add some lime juice that I've already squeezed. I've got 2 limes juiced here. I'm going to add some soy sauce. I love to add soy sauce, even though this is not an Asian flavor profile. Soy sauce really adds that umami, rich kind of darkness. It's just so good in cooking. So that adds a little bit of nice there. And now you could add a little salt, but I really go mild on my salt. I try to avoid adding a lot of extra things like that. This recipe has so much flavor. The soy sauce has a little bit of salt, so I'm not going to add salt. So we're just going to let this cook a little bit. And then I want to show you the next step. While this is simmering away, I want to show you the next step for making the nachos. And that is the tortillas. So you could, in your nachos, choose to, use nacho chips or tortilla chips. But I think it's really amazing if you start out with fresh tortillas, fresh corn tortillas, and just slice them into squares and roast them in the oven at about 400 degrees. So I'm going to do that for these nachos. They're going to be really amazing. Of course, you could use the bag of tortilla chips, but I'm going to show you how to do this. So we're going to start with about, I think it's about 10 of these. Let me double check. 12 rather. 12 of these really small, like street taco size tortillas, corn tortillas. And I'm going to slice those up. Put this over here. And I'm going to slice those up into triangles. And see how easy it is if I just slice the whole stack. Here's everyone. Happy New Year. So it's a lot easier if you slice up the whole stack into quarters, just like that. So now, what I'm going to do is just kind of layer them in my pan. This is the pan that the nachos are going to go in later. So I'm saving some time, don't have to do so many dishes later. So I'm just kind of sprinkling these around. Now I've used the yellow corn tortillas, but if you see the purple ones, that's so pretty in this recipe. You can even make your own corn tortillas if you're really into it. I have done that before too. So I just kind of sprinkle those around, and now I'm going to just drizzle a little bit of olive oil. So this is a little bit healthier too, because that little bit of olive oil is a lot less than a lot of the fried tortilla chips out there. So I'm just going to drizzle a little olive oil, and then that's going to go in the oven for about 10 minutes. So my oven is going in the background. I'm going to just hop over here, put it in the oven. And we're going to just let that cook for about 10 minutes. And meanwhile, look at our carnitas are starting to really come together. We're going to keep letting this cook a little bit. Ideally, you might want to let this cook for about 15 minutes until all the ingredients are nice and saucy and the vegetables are really tender. So we're going to just keep letting this cook. And I want to show you the next step for this. Now, I like to make my own homemade cashew cream. Have you ever made that? It's super easy to make. And I'm just going to use a little blender. I think you can see the blender there. And basically, all you have to do is soak some cashews. You could literally soak these for about half an hour. I've already soaked my cashews right here. You could literally soak these for about half an hour. So while you're getting all your things together, just throw those 1.5 cups of cashews in a jar or a bowl, cover it with water, and let them soak. By doing that, you're rehydrating those cashews, and they're going to be perfect to blend into this amazing cashew cream, which is like a sour cream replacement for something like nachos. It's so good. I mean, so many people absolutely love, just a homemade cashew cream, especially in something like nachos. So I want to show you how to make that. I'm going to drain off the water, and you can just use a little blender. I'm just using a small blender here. I'm going to drain off the water from the cashews and just throw those cashews right into the blender. Oops, I lost a few. So now they're really soft. I don't know if you can see how soft those are, but by soaking them, they get really soft, and then when you puree them, they just get velvety, which is so perfect for something like a cashew cream. This is a great sour cream alternative. You can just use so much with cashew cream. So I'm going to add all of those stray cashews here. And so I've got my cashews in here, just a small blender. And then I'm going to add my other ingredients. 1 clove of garlic, just 1 clove. And then I've got half of a lemon juice. I already juiced it. That's going in there. And then I've got a little bit of white pepper. I like white pepper because I love that little bit of spiciness from the pepper, but I don't want the color. I want this to be really velvety, creamy, silky white in color. So I'm adding a little bit of white pepper. And then if you want, you can add a little salt. I'm going to just add a little pinch of salt. You don't have to. As I said, I'm not a big fan of using too much salt in my cooking. So we're adding some salt. And then the only other thing we have to do is add a little bit of plant-based milk, about half a cup. Now, I've got a little bit more. I'm going to start with about this much. And see, because you just want the right amount of moisture to make this really creamy and velvety. You don't want it to be watery, but you don't want it to be overly thick either. So I'm getting my lid on here, making sure that's nice and tight. And we're going to process this. Now watch me have problems with my blender today. Oh no, I'm having problems. Let me see. Okay. Well, if it doesn't work, we'll just do it without it, but let me try it one more time. Okay, let's see. Here we go, it works. So we're just blending it. You might have to shake it up a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more of the liquid, I can tell. And by the way, everybody, don't forget to support Uplands Peak Sanctuary, you guys. It's just an amazing farm sanctuary with 50 animals. They've been celebrating their 7th birthday, and they're the first farm sanctuary in Indiana. So don't forget to support them. Just go to their page or Facebook and make a donation. Be generous. So I'm going to add a little bit more plant-based milk, so this is nice and smooth and creamy. Tighten this up a little bit more. And now let's try this. This one's a nice smooth texture. Sometimes you'll have to keep working at this. It's getting there. I find that every time you make something like cashew cream, it never behaves the same way twice, because maybe your cashews are a little bit softer than other times, but you can kind of see that it's nice, creamy. Yeah, I'm going to just process it a little bit more, add a little bit more plant-based milk. Now I'm just using soy milk, but you could use whatever plant-based milk you like. You just want to make sure it's unflavored. You want that to be plain. And then, you know, this basic recipe of cashew cream, you can use it for other things too. Okay, I think we're there. All right, so we're good on this. I'm going to stir up my carnitas. It's starting to look good. Can you see how good it looks? Okay, so, and we're going to check on our tortilla chips back here. Let me see. I think these are looking pretty good. Yes. Well, I'm going to give it just a couple more minutes. This is cooking up. We're almost there. And we're doing pretty well on time. So let's look and see what our cashew cream looks like. It's nice and creamy and velvety, which is what I really want. So, you know, you can just literally take this. I like to just put this in a jar to serve it. It's so good. You know, as I said, it's so good on tacos, something like this, nachos, but it's just really great. Sandwiches, pita bread. Oh, it's just so wonderful. And then, you know, you can add other ingredients, like you could add cilantro or basil if you wanted to make that recipe a little bit different. So here we go. We've got our cashew cream, and it's ready for our nachos. So we're going to put that aside while we're finishing up our jackfruit carnitas. So let me know how you're doing, everybody. Send me your comments. Let me know what you're fixing up for New Year's. And this looks really good. It's starting to look really good. Now, the great thing about these nachos is that now we're just going to layer in different toppings. So what I've got is some refried beans. I'm going to basically be adding some servings of refried beans here, just like some scoops of canned refried beans. You can use whatever brand you like as long as it's plant-based. And then we're also going to be using the carnitas filling and then some plant-based cheese. And that's going in the oven while we get all of our toppings together. Because, you know, this recipe is all about the toppings. Okay, so let's get our tortilla shells from the oven. And ooh, they're nice and golden. See, look at that. They're nice and golden. And let's go ahead and start layering in. I'm really liking the look of our our carnitas filling here. It's starting to look really great. So let's start with some of the beans. So basically, we'll just add some of the beans all over the tortilla chips. So we'll just add dollops of beans. 1 can is really perfect for this recipe. Now these are black beans, refried black beans, but you could use refried pinto beans. You could make your own refried beans. Just cook some beans and mash them. So it's really easy and delicious. I just wish you could smell my kitchen right now. It's so good. So we're going to add all of that here. We're good to go. And now we are going to add our carnitas, our jackfruit carnitas. We're just going to evenly spread that over. It's really looking good. Gosh, everybody is going to eat this in my family, in my household. Everybody's looking forward to this for our little, small, safe holiday. Our small, safe New Year's Eve. Okay, so we've got our beans, we've got our jackfruit carnitas, and now we're just going to sprinkle some of the plant-based cheese over here. Just going to sprinkle that on. This is about a cup, but you know, you could use more or less if you prefer. So there are so many great brands of plant-based cheese out there. The shredded ones, you can make your own plant-based cheese now. So just use whatever brand you like, and that, now this whole thing is going in the oven. I'm going to take this to the oven. I'm going to get my hot pads. We're going to put this in the oven. And now this is going to bake for a little while. So I see some more messages coming in. We have someone asking, I'm assuming the cashew sauce will last a few days in their fridge, and that's a good point. One of the great things about cashew cream is that you can make it like once a week and use it in lots of different recipes. This is quite a good sized batch. So you can make a batch. You know, I like to keep soaking cashews on hand just so I have them ready to turn into recipes. This is super good on lasagna too. Anytime you need something with that creamy texture that you're looking for. So that's a great point. You could make this an extra batch and then have it on hand for other recipes. So I love that, Karen. Okay, so now we are going to have all of our other ingredients handy here. So, you know, you could use other toppings on your nachos. I'm using shredded cabbage because I love the color of purple cabbage on something like nachos or tacos. I've got some sliced olives that we're going to use. I'm going to be slicing up an avocado. I've got some cherry tomatoes, and I've got some green onions. These are all from a local farmer. I've got some salsa here and some chopped cilantro. So I'm going to be adding all of those things to the nachos once they come out of the oven, because these are the fresh ingredients. I want them to stay kind of crisp and nice until it's just served. So now, guess what we're doing? We're making our cocktails. Right? Now it's time to make our cocktails. So I'm going to be making a ginger pomegranate sparkler. So I have to tell you that I live in California, and pomegranates are local here. We live in a Mediterranean climate. Pomegranates are a Mediterranean fruit, and I have hundreds of pomegranates growing. And of course, they all come ripe at once. So I'm looking for ways to use pomegranates. They are a seasonal fruit. So this is a great way to have a seasonal plant-based cocktail that's a little bit lighter in the sugar. It has some more antioxidants in there. So it's really a very simple cocktail recipe. And it's very celebratory, very holiday festive. So I love it. So what I've done is I've squeezed pomegranate juice out of all my pomegranates. It took quite a few pomegranates to make the juice, but it's so amazing, so full of flavor. You can't believe it. But you can easily find pomegranate juice in most supermarkets. It's in season right now. So I've got 1 cup of pomegranate juice, and I have a cocktail shaker. I love this cocktail shaker. It's a mason jar. You could just use a pitcher if you want, but I'm adding 1 cup of pomegranate juice to my shaker. Now this recipe makes about 4 servings, 4 small servings or 2 bigger servings. And then I'm gonna go get my other ingredients over here because I ran out of space. This basically has my pomegranates, and then it's got a cup of ginger beer. And I'll just measure that out here, 1 cup of ginger beer. That's gonna go in there. And then it's got a cup of sparkling mineral water. So, you know, I prefer plain sparkling mineral water. I like the bubble and the fizz. So, you know, I like that sparkle. The great thing about the sparkling mineral water, it doesn't have extra sugar. So I don't want to use any other sugary additions to this recipe. Ooh, you can see all the fizz going on there already. And then we're gonna add some vodka here. And that's really it. That's the only ingredients in this recipe. That's it. So we're gonna just shake that up now. So I've got my vodka, I've got my pomegranate juice, my sparkling mineral water, and some ginger beer. So I'm gonna add my lid, and hopefully this doesn't leak. Just shake that up a little bit. Again, you could just stir this. You could use a pitcher and just stir it with a spoon. That's it. Now I've got 2 glasses with ice. I just used mason jars. I love to use mason jars for serving. So I've got them added ice there because you want to start with ice. That's going to help dilute your drink too. And then I'm going to just take this all the way off. And then we'll just add our sparkler here. I'm just going to fill it up partially. And there we go. That's it. So you can see it makes about 4 servings. We're going to set that aside. And you can see the ginger pomegranate sparklers. Cheers, everyone. Have a cheers with me. So good. The ginger is coming through and that amazing, luscious pomegranate. So, you know, again, just a few ingredients. It's lighter in sugar and also it's lighter in alcohol because we're really adding all those ingredients like the mineral water and the juices and everything. So it's a little bit lighter in alcohol, which is a nice thing. So again, I want to remind you to, you know, go support Inland's Peak Sanctuary. It's an amazing program in Indiana, and they're home to 50 farm animals. So please remember to show them some love and support. You can get more information about donating at their Facebook or page or at their site, okay? So I have another, let's see what else I have. I think there will be a run on pomegranates here in the Midwest now. So yeah, I know. Hopefully you can find those. I know that it's getting easier and easier to find the pomegranate juice, especially this time of the year because it's in season. And a lot of it grows in California now, so it's making its way to supermarkets all over. So I hope you enjoyed this. And you know what? You could easily swap out another type of juice, right? What about cranberry juice, right? That would be good in here. Or maybe orange juice. But I love that sparkling quality. You can even add some herbs in here, like for example, rosemary or basil. You can get creative. So I hope you enjoy that. And now let's get going on our nachos, right? It's time to see what's going on here. Make room because it's getting close to celebrating our nachos. You know, and while we wait for those to bubble and cook away, I want to get some more of my toppings ready because this is all about an amazing topping. And again, you know, this is where you could show your creativity and, you know, put whatever toppings you like on your nachos. But I'm going to get myself ready, so I'm going to need some room here. But I want to add some green onions, so I'm going to chop a couple green onions. Look at these beautiful little baby green onions that are grown locally here. So I'm going to slice some onions, and I'm going to get that ready. I'm also going to slice my avocado and get that ready. It's going to be so good. All right, so we're going to do that. What else would be good on here? You know, you could just really go with whatever you have. Now, I have cherry tomatoes, but maybe you have a different tomato that you'd like to use. I have green olives, but you could use black olives. You can, you know, just go crazy with whatever toppings you want. And it's also something that you can take advantage of what you might have on hand. So I've got one avocado. This is a local avocado in Ohio where I live. It's very famous for avocados. Everybody has avocados everywhere. So look at that amazing avocado. So I'm going to slice that up here because that will be beautiful on the nachos, don't you think? So I've got that ready. And I'm running out of spoons here, but I will figure it out. So we're going to loosen that from the peel and get that ready. And then I think we're going to go check on our nachos and see if they're ready. So everything's looking great. You know, before I do that, I'm going to slice some of these cherry tomatoes in half because they're going to be nicer if they're sliced in half. So while we're waiting for those nachos to come out, please let me know what you're going to have on your menu, what your cocktails are, and what you're planning to eat. And even for tomorrow, what are you going to have for New Year's Day? I want to hear all about it. There's just so many amazing plant-based foods that we can enjoy. It's better for people, the planet, animals. So eating more of these delicious plant-based meals are the way to go. And this is a great time of the year. If you're interested in eating a more plant-based diet and you haven't tried it, this is a great time to do it. Try Veganuary, which is a month of vegan eating in January, and just go for it. I have a free toolkit on my blog at SharonPalmer.com on how to go vegan, to do a challenge for New Year's. It's free, has everything you need to get going. So go check it out, and let's celebrate a whole month of plant-based eating. Okay, now it's time to go check our nachos. Let's see what they look like. Are you ready? Oh my goodness. They look so good. I'm going to show them to you in just a second. All right, are you ready for this? I mean, when people ask me what I eat as a plant-based eater, this is the kind of stuff I eat. It's just amazing. I mean, look at the colors and wait till you see all these beautiful things that I'm going to add to this. It's just really delicious. So I'm going to start by adding some purple cabbage. I told you I love to add the purple cabbage because it's so pretty. It's also packed with nutrition. The purple is kind of like a calling card for anthocyanin, which is a phytochemical found in purple foods. Very high in antioxidants, anti-inflammatory compounds. So I'm going to add that. Looks like I've got another comment that came in. Somebody said, avocados for the win. I'll add mushrooms to mine. I love the mushroom idea. That would be good in the carnitas to saute too. So now I'm going to add my avocado slices. So I'm going to add some of those. I've got my cherry tomatoes. These are some beautiful heirlooms. They're pretty yellow color. I'm going to add those here. And again, this is where you can get creative. You can add whatever you like. And then I've got some more avocados here. I've got some little orange tomatoes. I've got my green onions. I'm going to sprinkle here. You just keep going. It's like the kitchen sink here. And let's see, I'm going to move this over. It's piping hot, fresh out of the oven. What's really great about this recipe is it's something you can share together. You know, in your little bubble for New Year's Eve, you can all be just digging in. And this is like a meal in one. You've got protein, you've got healthy carbs, you've got lots of veggies. So it's really, you know, very satisfying. And as you can see, it's just getting more and more beautiful. So I want to add a little salsa. I've got some smoked salsa I'm going to add here. And lots of cilantro. We need cilantro. Oh my gosh, this looks so good. Looks like I have some more messages. First, I want to show you what this looks like. Look at that. Looks amazing, huh? So I'm just gonna pop this on my table. It's almost 6:45 here in California. It's a perfect time for an appetizer. And then we've got our ginger sparklers. Cheers, I hope you tried these. And it looks like I got another message from you guys. I'm going to make a pot of chili tomorrow for New Year's Day. We sometimes use mushrooms or walnuts as a meaty texture. I do the same thing. That's such a great idea. Lentils are really great in chilies. I have a lentil recipe that for chili, as well as a bolognese or a taco filling. And I also love to use walnuts too. It's a great meat alternative. So keep sending in your tips and ideas. I'd love to hear them. And I wanted to remind you again to go check out Uplands Peak Sanctuary and support them. They're an amazing farm sanctuary, the first in Indiana, and they're home to 50 farmed animals, such as cows, pigs, goats, turkeys, and chickens. So please make sure to support them tonight for New Year's Eve. Show them some love. You can go to their Facebook page or to the website and donate. So please do that. And I think we're all ready to celebrate New Year's. So let me check with our team at Peaks and see what is up for our next. If you have any questions, please send them in too. And I want to hear what you're serving too for the holidays. So one of the things that I'm going to be making tomorrow is actually I'm going to be using king trumpet mushrooms and slicing them and sauteing them, and they make this amazing kind of savory. It's almost like a replacement for seafood. I'm going to serve it over a bed of pureed peas and then make roasted potatoes and cauliflower. Doesn't that sound amazing? So we really don't need to miss anything on a plant-based diet. So thank you so much for joining me in my home in Ojai, California. And please please remember to support Uplands Peak Sanctuary. Give generously. Have an amazing New Year's Eve. Celebrate in your bubble. Be safe and healthy. Happy New Year. And if I can help with anything, reach out to me at SharonPalmer.com. You'll find all sorts of stuff you need for a healthy New Year. Bye. Happy New Year. Cheers.
Hello,
everyone.
Hey.
So hopefully everyone can hear us. My name is Leah Hastings. I would like to welcome you to our laughter yoga. I am a therapist with a not-for-profit here in Louisville, Kentucky, and I am also a member of Therapists for Protest for Law. I personally have been involved in Uplands Peak for about 4 years as a volunteer. I also sponsor some animals. So I'm really excited to be able to share my love of helping people with my love of helping animals. And we're holding on. You guys look pretty.
Oh, thank you. So do you are. Everybody's tasty.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
And I'm Kelly, and I'm a therapist at a nonprofit in Southern Indiana, working with children and their families. And I'm also a member of Therapists for Protester Wellness.
Hey, Kelly, can you hear us?
Yep.
I don't think we're live.
We're not live right now.
Oh,
Amy said it's broken. Someone broke it.
Yeah, they said to reset us with a new link.
That's why we got awkward.
Yeah, that did get awkward.
Oh, she said, oh, wait. She said, oh, wait.
Man, I knew it. Just me as usual.
We're live. Start all over. Hi, everybody. Hopefully you saw some of that nonsense because everybody needs to laugh in 2020. So my name is Leah Hastings. I'm a therapist in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm also a member of Therapists for Protester Wellness. And I personally have been involved with Peak for about 4 years. So I'm excited to bring my love of helping people with my love of helping animals and kind of connecting the intersectionality between people and animals. We would like to first thank Abe's the Vegan Muffin, which, by the way, they have more than muffins, for sponsoring this segment. They will be matching donations for the first $100 worth of donations. So if you can, please give. $5 becomes 10, 10 becomes 20. So any little bit helps. And I will turn it over to Kelly and let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Kelly, and I am a therapist in Southern Indiana working with children and families. And I'm also a member of Therapists for Protester Wellness.
All right.
That's Millicent, our founder.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Millicent, and I'm a licensed therapist, and I'm also a PhD student in counseling psychology locally at University of Louisville. And my research interests center around accessibility and cultural sensitivity towards Black Americans and low socioeconomic status communities. And like Kelly just said, I'm also the founder of Therapists for Protester Wellness. And just a little bit about us. So we were founded in June in Louisville, Kentucky. As you know, this is where the murder of Breonna Taylor was. So we've been fighting and down there as protesters and activists every day since June. And just like Kelly and Leah, we've been on the front line, but we also turned into a role of healers and helpers. So over time, this group cultivated called Therapists for Protester Wellness, and it's grown to over 100 mental health professionals, and this includes mental health counselors, music therapists, art therapists, psychiatrists, counseling students, and more. And what we do, we connect those people that are on the front lines, that are doing all this activism work. We try to get them with ongoing care. And if they aren't looking for ongoing care, but they're just stressed out because they've had a hard day, it's stressful being out there on the front lines. We've also been there to just do some right on the spot, immediate crisis counseling. So that's what we do. So we're trying to show people in our community that we can be helpers and healers, but also activists too. So we try to integrate that mental health with social justice.
So, like Millicent was already sharing, we're looking at the cross-section of activism in mental health. And anybody that does activism work knows that mental health is a huge part of this. Whether we're fighting for mental health rights of those underserved, or we're just fighting for other people's rights or the rights of animals, nature, any of those things. It's hard work. You run up a lot of pressures. People disagree with your point of view. People give you a lot of negative feedback sometimes. And then, not to mention, there's the trauma caused from the work that we do, from the work with trying to fight for justice for Breonna Taylor. Many of the protesters have experienced police brutality, have been arrested, have been detained in terrible conditions, conditions nobody would or deserves to be in. And we see that that impacts mental health and physical health and just overall well-being. And so this intersection of mental health and activism is so important because all of us have to take care of ourselves to be able to take care of other people. It's just like that analogy goes, that you can't take care of the baby if you don't put the oxygen on yourself first as the plane goes down. So that is amazing that Millicent has come up with this, and we're so excited to share some of this with you guys.
So Kelly talked about the intersectionality of like activism and mental health, protests and mental health. And I want to take it a step further and talk about the intersectionality of animal rights activism, human rights activism, and kind of like the cost of animal agriculture on people. I was really excited today to hear some other presenters talk about intersectionality and human rights in regards to veganism. So just just tiny snapshot of the human impact of animal agriculture. So 17% of migrant workers make up the whole of the working population in America. Whereas in slaughterhouses, the front line is comprised of 50% of immigrant workers. Out of the 100% of workers that work in slaughterhouses, 75% of those workers are Black and brown. 50% are Hispanic, and 25% are people of color, Black people, Indigenous people. And then you add on top of that the impact that mass incarceration has had on people of color. And you have slaughterhouses who are willing to pay $15 an hour and have health benefits and hire people who have felony records where no one else will. You find a large population of marginalized individuals in slaughterhouses. And then on top of that, you have PTSD from working frontline in slaughterhouses. You have anxiety, you have depression, you have increase in substance use, in domestic violence, in all these things that come from violence that we place on animals. So I thought it was really interesting when I started to think about therapist for protester wellness and how we really do help the protesters on the front lines and we connect them with services, but how it really is bigger in helping people of color not only fight for racial justice, but to fight for just justice, period. To not have to work in a slaughterhouse to make your living, to not have to experience PTSD and go home every day just because you want to support your family and you have a felony. So with that in mind, we'd like to talk a little bit about self-care. I promise we're not going to talk the whole time. We're going to get to some fun stuff, but we want to just lay the groundwork of why what we're going to do at the end is so important. So I'm going to turn it over to Millicent and let her talk about self-care for a little bit.
All right, so let's talk about it. So when we think about self-care, we see it on social media, you see it on TV shows. I think there was an episode on Parks and Recreation where it was all about treating yourself. And for the whole week, they just went crazy and bought all these new clothes, went to all these nice restaurants, just splurged. And I think that's kind of what our society is going with when it comes to self-care, and those things are totally fine. It's okay to indulge sometimes. It's okay to take breaks and just do things that you enjoy. But ultimately, as mental health therapists, we want to emphasize that self-care is more than that. It's about creating a life that you do not have to escape from. So this is doing things every day that make life a little easier, having boundaries for certain people, for certain things, whether that's work or turning off your phone at the end of the night. That's what self-care is all about. So we talked just a little bit about those typical things you see. So taking that bubble bath, going on a trip, things of that nature. But we also want to normalize just other typical things. And I think just as therapists and just as normal human beings, I think it'll be interesting to just hear some of the things that we do to take care of ourselves. So for me, for self-care, I'm done with my homework by 10 p.m. and I like to escape with some reality TV and a glass of wine every night. No matter where I am with my work, I have to turn off by a certain time so that I don't get burnt out by the end of the week, and I can just watch something that's senseless and something that doesn't force my mind to work. And that's how I take care of myself, and that makes me feel good at the end of the day, especially if it's been a very stressful day. So that's the biggest thing that I do to take care of myself. And then at a certain time when I'm getting tired, I'm not going to text you back. I can get back to you in the morning. Just ways to lay down boundaries and show people that, even though I do have a lot of responsibilities, I want to make sure that I still have a life, especially a social life, and that I can still stay up to date with things outside of my work world. So that's an example of something that I do to take care of myself. And Leah and Kelly are also going to talk about some things that they do.
Go ahead, Leah.
So my self-care is a little bit different because my self-care actually includes activism, but it just depends on where I'm at with how hard I've been going, I should say, as to what I'm doing. So actually going to a protest to me, like, kind of revives me when I am feeling down, I'm feeling low, I'm feeling like, what are we fighting for? Why am I stressed out so much? Like, why is the world so exhausting? I go to a protest. I go to an event where I can be with other people who think like me, and being around people who think like me kind of refreshes me in a way. The other thing I like to do is I like to build stuff. So while Millicent likes to turn her brain off and relax and be with herself, I need to do something to distract myself from my brain because my brain won't turn off. So I like to build things. I like to, make stuff out of wood. I like to go in the garage. I like to do things like that. So my self-care things are a little bit more active. Kelly, what are your self-care?
So I definitely agree with you on the activism. That's been a big thing for me that I've found has renewed some of my spirit, especially working in social work. You work with people individually, and sometimes it's hard to see the bigger picture. And so this has been great for that. So I'm also part of the Say Her Name bike ride group, which I absolutely love. Anyone is welcome to join. So if you're ever in Louisville and you want to see Louisville and learn some history, especially as it relates to the Black community, definitely join us. You can check us out on Facebook because I plug it all the time because I think that from what I've seen of other people in this group, it's been one of those self-care pieces. It's part of our activism. We do chants and stuff, but we're doing a different type of activism. And that's the other thing with the self-care is finding different avenues. So maybe it's not going to protests every day, because I remember doing that at the beginning of this, but finding other ways of doing it. And that's really helpful for me, finding other more creative ways for myself to get involved. But when I'm not doing those things and I'm trying to tone everything out, I honestly love Candy Crush. I'm a huge Candy Crush fan. Um, that and playing with my dog. We have a lot of conversations. He's in and out. You'll see him because he's kind of a camera hog. So I love doing those things and just not really focusing on anything too serious. So I also love a lot of reality TV like Teen Mom and Teen Mom 2. Love After Lockup's good. If you haven't checked that out, do so.
Yeah, and then just to reiterate what both Leah and Kelly said, I mean, one of the main things that they would say on the internet is, do those protesters have jobs? Because they're out here every day. And it's just like, yes, these protesters, we have jobs. A lot of us are professionals, have families. But like you all said, it feels good. And that's what self-care is about. It feels good. You're around people who believe in what you believe in. There's so much solidarity when you're in activism work. So it's definitely a form of self-care. And I think it's really hard to maybe see it that way unless you're really involved. But it definitely can be something seen as cathartic for sure.
Well, and I think this kind of translates a little bit into what we're going to talk about next, because the three of us did not know each other before Breonna Taylor was murdered. I guess Millicent and I did because we worked together a little bit. Before this activism started, we didn't know each other, and we have spent so much time like laughing and enjoying each other's company and being able to just be like real with people who are like us. I think that's really important. And so when we were asked to do this segment, we were like, what could we do? What could we talk about that's gonna be fun, that's gonna like bring up goodbye 2020 vibes and send us into the new year with like some legit good, just fun. So we started looking at laughter yoga, and Millicent's going to talk about what that is in a little bit, but I just want to talk about just laughter in general, what it does for the human body, what it does, mental health, physical health, and social benefits. And I'm going to look off screen just a little bit, so if I look crazy, that's why, because my brain doesn't work at the end of 2020. So my cheesy statement is laughter really the best medicine? And after I did research, I really do think it is. So the physical health benefits of laughing, just laughing. It boosts immunity, it lowers stress hormones, it decreases pain, it relaxes your muscles, it prevents heart disease, and it increases the intake of oxygen-rich air. The mental health benefits are it adds joy and zest to your life, it eases anxiety and tension, it relieves stress, it improves mood, and it strengthens resilience. And resilience is what we need to bring ourselves back up when we're feeling sad, when we're feeling low. It's that internal thing that we all need as humans. And then the social benefits, which is kind of what made me think of Millicent and Kelly, is it strengthens relationships, it attracts others to us, it enhances teamwork, it helps diffuse conflict, and it promotes group bonding. And I'm going to tell you right now, Millicent and Kelly didn't know anything about laughter yoga. And we watched some videos together yesterday. And I'm going to tell y'all that it was just like, it's what I needed. Like, I needed that for yesterday.
Yes.
So I'm going to let Millicent talk about laughter yoga and what laughter yoga is, just a tiny bit. And then we're going to get into it.
And I'm super excited about it. So laughing yoga was created by Dr. Madan Kataria, and it's this idea that even if you start with faking or forcing laughter, it eventually becomes real. Your body cannot tell the difference. So this is, like Lee just said, it's going to bring you all of those social, mental, and physical benefits as you use it. And there's 4 components to it. So the first part is clapping. So usually this happens in a group of people. Obviously, we can't do that right now because of COVID. We're on the screen, but we're still going to do it together. But there's actually some laughing clubs and just laughing groups where you just put yourself together and you're round in a circle and you start off by clapping. And then you breathe. So there's a lot of breathing exercises, probably some square breathing in, holding it, breathing out. And then there's some childlike playfulness, which we really had fun with yesterday. It comes right after that, and then it's the laughter. So it's all these things to get your body ready and set for this laughter to just build up that energy in your body. So that is, the basis of laughing yoga.
So I am going to ask everyone at home to laugh with us. The point of it is you're doing these actions and you're breathing as you're doing them, and you just kind of build into laughter. And all of the activities have certain names. And I decided that I would come up with some vegan-related laughter yoga mantras. I'm not sure what they're called. So my first one, since all vegans eat bananas, is sharing the banana. So I want you guys to hold your banana with me, and we're gonna peel the banana, and we're gonna breathe as we peel it. We're gonna start chuckling. Melissa, would you like some banana?
Helen, would you like some banana?
And the goal is, as you're laughing like a crazy person, that the real laughter comes. You start with fake laughter and the real laughter comes. So the second one I have, because as vegans, we all get stranded on a deserted island and must decide if we are going to die or eat the pig. I'm going to stand up and we are going to see, it's already funny. We're going to look. I don't see a pig in sight.
Yay!
Oh, I didn't find the pig. I'm probably going to die. It's okay, because I'm killing it. All right. Kelly, you got some laughter yoga for us?
Me? You want me?
Yeah.
I definitely got some for you. Okay. So the first is from the doctor himself. And this is a dance that he suggests you perform at the very end of your yoga. So you're going to go ho, ho, ha, ha. Ho,
Oh.
There's really good drums with this, and it's a whole beat, and it's much better. But we're going to try and do it synchronized for you guys, and then we're going to get into laughter. So we're going to go ho,
Ho, ho,
ha,
ha, ha,
ho,
ho, ho, ha, ha, ho, ho, ha, ha, ho,
Oh, ha.
ho, ho, ho.
My husband loves it.
I think your dog wants to fly. I think your dog wants to play now.
He's really into it. Okay, now the next one I created myself, and it's called the bodybuilder. Okay, so a little bit of a workout for everybody. Okay, so you're gonna go.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Okay.
I love that your dog is so into
Your
laughter.
dog loves it. So I would definitely say that this is definitely something you could do with the pets. Okay, so now I have two that I saw two from Dr. Kataria that I want to show. And the first one is called Milkshake. So pretend like you have 2 milkshakes in your hand. You're going to pour it into one cup, then pour it in the other cup, and then you're going to pour it. Oh my gosh, you made a milkshake. So pour it in one cup, pour it in the other cup. Oh my gosh, you just made it. Let's do it one more time. Oh my gosh. So you're going to pour it in one cup, then you're going to pour it in the other cup. Oh my gosh, then you're going to drink this.
Is this a vegan milkshake? I'm concerned.
Yes, okay, it's a vegan milkshake. Yes, let's edit it for the Telethon. Yes, a vegan milkshake. And then the next one I think would be so great to do if we were in person, but it's called the swinging laughter yoga. So what you do is if we were in a circle, we would start from far back, then you come together, and then you start laughing. Woo! So you start back, then you come together. Let's do it one more time. Let's go back. And we I feel like that would be so fun to do if we were close.
So like the premise of these is like an actual yoga class.
Yes.
It was literally people getting together and doing laughter yoga, which I think the minute COVID allows us to like be together is something that Therapists for Protester Wellness is going to do 100%.
Yes, we need it.
I'm like, my face is red from laughing and I feel happier. And that's the whole point of it is to do something. It's not physically taxing. We didn't move a whole lot. We actually didn't have to move at all. And we still got the increase of oxygen, the increase of hormones that are released when we laughed. Kelly was really excited yesterday because we found out that we burn calories when we laugh, and we're really excited to do that.
Woo!
So, I mean, in the end, it's 2020. The year has kind of sucked, but we have all these great things to still be happy for. We have all these awesome things that are surrounding us. And laughter yoga is kind of a way to bring that all together, to bring some peace to us. I hope that everyone at home got some laughter, even if it was at us.
That's totally fine.
I'm okay with that. Like as therapists, we're used to like being the tool that people need. So I mean, like we could probably do this like weekly. Like y'all can just Zoom us and we can act like fools and you guys can laugh. I want to thank again Abe's and Muffins for sponsoring this hour, for offering $100 match for any donations that happen during this hour. I'm pretty excited that up next is Honey LeBronc's The Vegan Queen. She is hilarious. She is amazing. You do not want to miss it. I promise. If you've been saving your money to donate, the next hour would be the time to do it, unless, of course, you spend all your money on us, which I appreciate. The friends at Peak appreciate. And check us out, Therapists for Protester Wellness in Louisville, Kentucky. One last shout out to Mowgli Studio for making our awesome logo for Therapists for Protester Wellness. She's amazing. She works for a nonprofit, so check them out if you have a moment. Y'all have a safe, happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Hello, everyone. We just wanted to kind of do the final check-in. It's actually from our living room. The animals are all tucked in tonight. Everyone's warm and happy and safe, and we just really wanted to check in and give a lot of thank yous and say hello to our fellow sleep lovers. This is actually really late for us. But we just wanted to give an update on how the day is going and to introduce our next guest to ring in the new year. Mark has a couple updates.
Yeah, so first off, I just really want to thank the last presenters, Protesters for Wellness. Therapists for Protester Wellness. And a special shout out to Leah. Thank you, Leah. Leah has been a volunteer for like 400 years, maybe like 4 years, but for a really long time. Also to just, there's a lot of people behind the scenes in the last, I don't even know how long, getting this together. But especially Annie Poppin, who is the mastermind behind the curtain for most of the night, and Karen Asp, who was just instrumental in getting the fabulous talent that you guys have seen tonight. It's just really great to bring all those people together for evening. And I will say that the telethon was my idea. I know it's brilliant. What can I say? But and let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, and a vegan muffins, which we're especially excited about because we have a wonderful dog named Abe. So I'm sure he would love a vegan muffin from his own vegan muffin place. And they matched the last segment. So anything up to $100, they matched from the last segment. So thank you very much. Gosh, yeah, I think, and the thermometer, we look back behind us, if you can see the thermometer, and move it over a little bit. Yeah, it looks like we're at $4,500. So we're almost halfway, and we have another segment. So we have a really exciting event coming up. Honey LeBronx is going to take us into the New Year's with a bang. So if you don't know the wonderful Honey LeBronx, you're in for quite a show. And mwah, thank you, Honey, for doing this for us. We're really excited about it. And so yeah, what else is on my theme? Oh, and Honey LeBronx that segment is going to be sponsored by Mowgli Studios. Mowgli Studios has just been instrumental in supporting Uplands Peak over the years with wonderful graphics and marketing and design and a billion other things. So shout out to them. What else? Do you want to talk a little bit about the animals in general? Everybody's mainly asleep right now. So, it's just, like Michelle said, we're usually in bed. It's the end of a very, very long day. It can be grueling at an animal sanctuary, and we had a pig ear bleeding, and we had a pig shivering today, and you just never know, on top of all the other stuff that you do regularly, what kind of little exciting actions or incidents are going to pop up. But everybody is safe and warm right now in the barns and in buildings and coops. And I'm sure the animals as well as the humans are anxious to say bye-bye to 220. And if you would like to donate and make the thermometer rise even more, you can go to byeBye2020.org and donate, or you can donate through Facebook, or you can go through our website, uplandspeaksanctuary.org. Oh, look, there it is, right across the screen.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's tired.
On cue. So yeah, go there, give us some money. We'll really be great. It takes a lot of cash to support all these animals, and you know it's much different from a farm. So animals at a farm animal sanctuary are given the care that you might imagine given to a $10 million thoroughbred horse, for an animal example. Their coops are heated, their coops are air conditioned in the summer. We have a nice fancy heating blanket on one of our pigs. We put it on the pig this afternoon because she was shivering, and just, $3,500 for vet care to make sure, instead of a beautiful little baby hen being euthanized, that she has been able to flourish and live out her life just because she had a little infection in her toe. So just, sanctuaries go above and beyond to care for animals, and just to remind everyone that, they are no different from dogs, cats, whatever. Beings are beings, and we appreciate them and respect them and give them great care. Do you want to say anything? Awesome. You want to do a little toast?
All right, so we're just going to do a little toast to everyone to get your all's party started. We're probably going to be watching Honey from bed tonight. We got a little sparkling grape juice. So yeah, I think we all are happy to see 2020 go. But I would just like to add that I know for us, 2020 has definitely been hard and challenging in all of those things. But I think that there's a lot of things that, we've been even more grateful for than we have before. And definitely the property that we're blessed to wake up every morning and see a gorgeous sunrise and see the animals come out and start their day freely. They can get up when they want and start eating grass. The beautiful sunsets here, our amazing community. And I think some other things for this year is just learning our own lessons about having clear boundaries. And as the last segment talked about, self-care. So I know there's been a lot of information today, but I think all of us that are givers and caretakers and world changers and justice fighters, that we absolutely have to take care of ourselves. And that means, sometimes that we have to take some time off and we have to take some downtime so that we can recharge our batteries and be there for the animals and whatever other causes that we're fighting for. So that's some of the lessons that we're taking away from this year, which is how 2021 is going to be better. And then, like Mark said, a great way to support Uplands Peak in our work for animal liberation and animal rights is to donate. There's not a donation that's too small. Every donation counts and makes a difference in the lives of our residents, but also those that, are going to need to be rescued in the new year. So with all of that, let's say goodbye to 2020 and welcome 2021. And Honey's going to do a much better job at that than us. But
yeah, you're in for a show.
Yeah. Thank you all so much. Thank you for an amazing day. And thank you for supporting us through 2020. And we look forward to an amazing 2021 with you all, and hopefully opening up so that we can, share our residents and who they are with you in person.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.